Making headlines, discussions commence on the formulation of the next 20-year National Development Plan. President Dr. Muiz states the importance of ensuring that every island has a voice in the National Development Plan. And Minister of Housing states that the National Development Plan for the next 20 years will serve as a vital roadmap to guide the Maldives towards a positive trajectory. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Hello and welcome to PSM News in English. I'm Udma Mahmoud, your host for the afternoon. Looking into the details, discussions have commenced on the formulation of the next 20-year National Development Plan, also referred to as the National Development Vision for the Generation. President Dr. Mohamed Muiz initiated the discussions in a ceremony held at Social Center. On September 17, President Dr. Mohamed Muiz announced that the Cabinet had approved the National Development Plan. This plan is designed to provide legal authority for the nation's development over the next 20 years. In his address, President Muiz stated that the primary purpose of the plan is to create a comprehensive, long-term vision for the development of the Maldives, incorporating the views and decisions of the public. The plan will be crafted in consultation with the people and all relevant stakeholders. Consultations will include all islands, associations, political parties, and experts from various fields. Plans will be established for consultation and feedback across diverse industries, and the experience of developed countries abroad will also inform the process. The President highlighted that the plan aims to protect and secure the future of the nation in the spirit of nationalism. He emphasized the importance of this initiative in fostering the development of all Maldivians and ensuring a better future for future generations. Through this plan, significant measures will be taken to address the Maldives' major long-term challenges. President Dr. Mohamed Muiz has stated the importance of ensuring that every island has a voice in the National Development Plan. He made these remarks at the inauguration ceremony for discussions on the 20-year National Development Plan. The President highlighted that if the country's development is subject to constant shifts due to political influences, it will not benefit the people. To address this, he aims to enshrine the plan with legal authority and integrate it into the Constitution, thus making it a binding national initiative. The President emphasized that this work should be regarded as a national endeavor with input from every island in the Maldives. He noted that 20 years is a generational span and completing this plan will provide a vision for the future of a generation. The President added that the plan should also reflect global changes, particularly the role of artificial intelligence, and underscored the need to incorporate technology into the country's development. While the drafting of the National Development Plan has begun, the President has set a goal to complete the process within 1 year, with plans to implement it by November next year. Throughout this plan, significant steps will be taken to address the Maldives' major long-term challenges. President Dr. Mohamed Muiz has ratified the 7th Amendment to the Goods and Services Tax Act of the Maldives. The amendment was approved by the Parliament on October 31st. The amendments to the Goods and Services Tax Act, the Maldives Tourism Act, and the Taxes and Fees on Passengers Departing from an Airport Act were approved by the Parliament without any additional modifications. The new amendments seek to revise the Tourism Goods and Services Tax (TGST). As such, the TGST collected from tourism-related services from January 1st, 2024 will remain at 16% until June 30, 2025. Following this period, as stipulated in the Act, the TGST rate will rise to 17% effective July 1, 2025. Meanwhile, the new measures brought to the Tourism Act will increase the green tax for tourism service providers and guest houses with fewer than 50 rooms from USD $3 to $6 per tourist. The results, the tax will rise from $6 to $12 per tourist effective January 1, 2025, with children under the age of 2 exempt from this tax. Additionally, the amendments to the Airport Act will also raise airport development taxes and fees for foreign travelers. The fee for economy class travelers will rise from $30 to $50, while business class fares will increase from $50 to $120. First class fares will jump from $90 to $40, and fees for private jets will rise from $120 to $480. Following the ratification of the Acts, any necessary amendments to the regulations under the Acts must be completed and published in the Government Gazette within 30 days of the Act's enactment. President Dr. Mohammad Moizu announces the decision to establish a national sports fund. The decision was announced following the latest cabinet meeting. The decision, made after careful consideration of a proposal by the Minister of Sports, Fitness and Recreation, Abdullah Rafiu, aims to boost the number of players and athletes, develop sports, and empower the local sporting community. The cabinet also resolved to take the necessary steps to establish the fund, including amendments to the Sports Act. The Sports Minister announced the creation of the National Sports Development Fund (NSDF) as part of the Maldives' long-term strategy to develop exceptional athletes during the Maldives Sports Award 2024 ceremony. The Minister emphasized that the government's first step in this initiative is the creation of a comprehensive, long-term plan for the future of sports in the Maldives. This plan focuses on the actions needed to secure medals on a global scale, extending beyond the SAARC region. President Dr. Mohammad Moizu guarantees that the Hiyawahi financing program will be a continuous budgetary opportunity with funding allocated every year to address the country's housing challenges. The President made this statement during the inauguration of the scheme. In his address, President Moizu emphasized that alongside policies related to national independence, securing adequate housing for all citizens remains a top priority throughout his administration. He further highlighted that the government's proposed budget for the upcoming year includes $64.9 million for the housing financing scheme, in addition to a separate allocation for government-run social housing projects. The Hiyawahi financing program is designed to provide affordable loans for the construction of homes on vacant land with a nominal service charge of just 5%. It is an integral part of the government's broader strategy to address the housing shortage and offer financial support to citizens in need. President Moizu also reiterated that the government has already begun addressing housing issues from the very first day of his administration. In accordance with the government's manifesto, he assured that by the end of 2028, every citizen will have access to housing, ensuring that no Maldivian will be left without the opportunity to own or rent a home. The Maldives, in collaboration with the British High Commission in Maldives, have held a comprehensive workshop aimed at enhancing the response and arrangements made by the government and relevant authorities during emergency situations at a national scale. The workshop, under the name Enhancing National Emergency Response Coordination Arrangements in Maldives, took place from November 4th to 5th. According to the President's office, the primary object of the workshop was to enhance the collective efforts during a multi-agency response when handling major incidents of national concern. This includes major disasters and terrorism as well. Additionally, the workshop aims to further strengthen the existing arrangements and modes of communication and coordination across the government. The workshop was attended by 13 government ministries and agencies and was facilitated by experts in the field from the United Kingdom. Vice President Hussein Mohammad Latif concludes his official visit to Kurdafushi city and has returned to Mali City. The trip to Kurdafushi was undertaken by the Vice President to inaugurate a special program aimed at founding a society with good public health and well-being. The Ministry of Sports, Fitness and Recreation launched the Leading Leaders initiative on 4th November to train leaders who will oversee the program across 6 designated zones. The Hashia Raja program, launched, is part of the government's 14-week roadmap and reflects a long-term strategy to develop exceptional athletes. The initiative is being carried out by the Sports Ministry as part of President Dr. Mohammad Muiz's strong policy of human resource development and training for the nation's bright future. The ministry expressed optimism in conducting the program nationwide across all the atolls, thereby benefiting the residents. It anticipates the programs to be conducted before December 26th. Minister of Housing, Land and Construction and Urban Development Dr. Ali Haider Ahmed has stated the National Development Plan for the next 20 years will serve as a vital roadmap to guide the Maldives towards a positive trajectory. The minister made these remarks at the launch of discussions on the National Development Plan. Speaking during discussions, Minister Dr. Ali Haider Ahmed highlighted that as advised by President Dr. Mohammad Muiz, broad participation, consultation and feedback from all relevant stakeholders and the public will be actively sought during the formulation of the National Development Plan. Additionally, a National Development Act bill will be drafted and presented to Parliament during this process to grant the plan legal authority, facilitating the realization of key policies, priorities and objectives outlined in the plan. An amendment to the Constitution has also been proposed to provide the necessary powers for sustainable implementation of the plan. The minister noted that the plan will assess living conditions, identify challenges faced by various sectors, and propose improvements based on evidence and information. The formulation of the plan will encompass measures for social and economic development, environmental protection, and mitigation of the adverse effects of global climate change. Mr. Dr. Haider stressed that a vision is incomplete without extensive consultation with all stakeholders across the nation. The future of the Maldives, he said, is shaped by the engagement of government and state institutions, local councils, the private sector, civil society, the education sector, workers, political parties, and tomorrow's leaders. The consultative process is thus of utmost importance. The government aims to complete the plan within a year, and the minister encouraged every citizen to contribute their thoughts, suggestions, and insights. Opportunities will be available for public input through various forums, including avenues for advice, guidance, and ideas. The minister also expressed that this endeavor aims to build a more prosperous and contented Maldives. Minister of Transport and Civil Aviation Mohammad Amin announces that the government will implement measures to ensure the revenue from the jet handling business stays within the Maldives and benefits domestic companies. During a press conference at the President's office, Minister Amin explained that the jet handling business is largely managed through a company registered under a Maldivian name, with full benefits being directed to foreign parties, particularly from neighboring countries. He stated that the government is now committed to addressing this issue and ensuring that the industry serves the interest of Maldivian companies. The minister also highlighted the importance of structuring company registrations in a way that ensures revenue remains within the Maldives, preventing it from flowing to foreign entities. In addition, Minister Amin revealed that the government will conduct audits on the businesses of general sales agents and passenger sales agents in the aviation sector. These measures aim to ensure that Maldivian companies benefit from aviation-related businesses operating within the country. Apple is said to be the first company fined under new EU rules aimed at reining in the power of big tech. That's according to sources with direct knowledge of the matter on Tuesday. EU regulators charged in June that the iPhone maker had breached the bloc's tech rules. The charge against Apple was the first under the EU's Digital Markets Act, or DMA, which came into force earlier this year. Bloomberg reported on Tuesday that Apple was found to have failed to allow app developers to steer users to cheaper deals and offers outside of the App Store. The Reuters sources say that the fine is likely to come this month, although the timing could still change. DMA violations could result in a fine of as much as 10% of a company's global annual turnover. Apple declined to comment, while the European Commission did not immediately respond to a Reuters request for comment. The new penalty comes just months after Brussels fined Apple over $2 billion for thwarting competition from music streaming rivals via App Store restrictions. Apple also lost a long-running court battle with the EU in September. That resulted in the company being forced to pay over $14 billion in back taxes to Ireland. Republicans wrested the U.S. Senate from Democratic control, U.S. media projected early Wednesday, ending 4 years in the minority and providing a huge boost to the party in its quest to dominate every branch of government.
You made a really valid point.
The victory means that the incoming president will get enormous support to enact their agenda and appoint justices to the powerful U.S. Supreme Court if it's Donald Trump, but a legislative deadlock if it is his Democratic rival Kamala Harris. The U.S. Capitol is divided into the House of Representatives, where all 435 seats are up for grabs, and a 100-member Senate, which has 34 seats at stake this year. Congressional elections run alongside the White House race. Jim Justice, the sitting Republican governor of West Virginia, delighted Republicans early in the night when he emerged as an easy victor in the Senate race to replace retiring moderate Joe Manchin, an independent who voted with the Democrats. Ohio then moved into the Republican column after long-standing Democratic Senator Sherrod Brown was defeated by Bernie Moreno, a Trump-endorsed businessman and the son of a one-time high-ranking Colombian government official. Fox News and ABC called the race for control of the upper house after Republican Senator Deb Fischer fended off an unexpectedly robust challenge from an independent in Nebraska. The Justice and Moreno victories reversed the Democrats' 51-49 Senate advantage, with Republicans looking to extend their lead even further with potential pickups in Montana, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta says Odegaard might play a role against Inter, as he also recalls time at club with recently resigned sporting director Edu. Arsenal midfielder Declan Rice will miss the Champions League match at Inter Milan through injury, coach Mikel Arteta said on Tuesday, while the North London side hope Martin Odegaard can return to action after 2 months on the sidelines.
Yeah, well, the positive news, Martin, great to have him back. Obviously, he's trained with us for the first time. A full session today. He felt good. It's a bit earlier than we expected, but he wanted to be with the team. So we'll decide tomorrow whether to use him or not, but at least it's a big step that he's traveled with us and is part of the team. And Declan, unfortunately, he picked an injury during the match against Newcastle. He was able to finish the game, but he wasn't feeling good in the last few days, so we'll have to assess him on Thursday and understand whether he's going to be fit or not for the weekend.
Rice did not travel to Milan after picking up an injury during Arsenal's 1-0 defeat to Newcastle United at the weekend, and the England international will undergo further tests to determine his fitness for Sunday's game at Chelsea. Meanwhile, Arteta will wait to see if skipper Odegaard can play at San Siro on Wednesday after recovering from an ankle injury suffered in September on international duty with Norway. Both Arsenal and Inter have seen points after 3 Champions League games. Arteta's side will look to restore morale after a 3-game winless streak in the Premier League in what will be the team's first game after the departure of sporting director Edu. The former Arsenal midfielder rejoined the North London outfit as technical director in 2019 before being promoted to sporting director in 2022. Edu was instrumental in the appointment of coach Mikel Arteta in 2019 and the team's revival with signings such as captain Martin Odegaard, Gabriel Jesus, Kai Havertz and Declan Rice. At a drone testing field in southwestern Taiwan, university students watch anxiously as unmanned aerial vehicles they design take off, land, and occasionally crash in a simulated battlefield scenario. They are taking part in a competition that is helping Taiwan's efforts to boost domestic drone production. With Beijing sustaining military pressure on the island, Taipei is ramping up investment in unmanned aerial vehicles or UAVs as it seeks to bolster a more agile defense against a potential Chinese attack. Both Ukraine and Russia have used UAVs extensively throughout their conflict for surveillance and striking targets deep behind front lines. The UAVs flying in the National Defense Application UAV Challenge could potentially be adopted by drone companies and procured by the government. China claims Taiwan as part of its territory and has refused to renounce the use of force to bring it under its control. Now in its second year, the competition was held over 2 days last month at the Asia UAV AI Innovation Application R&D Center in Chiayi Country. 20 teams from across Taiwan gathered to put their drones to the test. The field will be whittled down to a short list this month on the challenge before the winner is declared next year. Multi-rotor and fixed-wing drones were required to fly autonomously to a height of at least 60 meters, take images of a remote target and return to base within 10 minutes. To make the scenario more realistic and difficult, organizers this year used a jammer to disrupt satellite signals to the UAVs, making it harder for them to stay airborne. That's it for now. Thank you for watching. Have a pleasant day ahead. Bye-bye.
राज्य के एक्सोदन अन्नमुंदा बदलतका तरक्की के मशरूतन हिंगा